Different parts of ship and their function. 1. Anchor. 2. Bow. 3. Bow thrusters. 4. Accommodation. 5. Deck. 6. Ship's hull. 8. Freeboard. 9. Engine room. 10. Funnel. 11. Navigation bridge. 12. Deck crane. 13. Forecastle. 14. Propeller. 15. Rudder. 16. Mast. 1. Anchor. An anchor is a heavy metal piece attached to the chain cables and is stored or secured in the hose pipe during the voyage/ship operation. Function. While most ships move from port to port, many have to wait outside for the berth. With increased shipping over time and growing number of ships, it becomes more and more common to wait for long for the berth. 2. Bow. A bow is the frontmost part of a ship which cuts the water along its sides as the ship proceeds. The key to requirement for a bow is to have minimum drag possible or so-called resistance between the water and the ship's hull and must be tall enough to avoid water splashing too easily on top of it. Function. Have you feel that extra effort you have to make to walk through water? That is due to water drag and its resistance to your body motion. So to reduce similar negative forces on ship's body, bow are placed on ship assisting easy propulsion. 3. Bow thrusters. A bow thruster is a propeller-like device fitted on both sides of ship's bow. It is used to increase the maneuverability of a ship in congested waters under very slow speed like that in canals or near ports. Function. A ship is maneuvered using propulsion and rudder angle variation. A rudder is a blade-like structure situated at aft of propeller which moves horizontally across the medium to steer a ship. Rudder angle is changed by a value to get desired change in ship direction. 4. Accommodation. It is a place on ship where the crew resides or live. Together with offices, crew cabins, gym, prayer room, few ships, salon, recreation room, laundry, hospital and galley, it is the heart of a ship next to engine room and bridge. Function. An accommodation accounts for the living space of the ship. Under Maritime Labor Convention, MLC 2006-2007, it is required by law to provide adequate accommodation facilities to ship's crew and officers along with proper recreational facilities. 5. Deck. A deck is a floor or covering to the ship's hull structure. A ship can have different decks at different section or parts of ship, namely upper and lower deck or deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3 in a sequential downward way. What it means is that the topmost deck exposed to weather is called main deck or weather deck. Function. One of many parts of ship, a deck is the plane that holds the hull structure providing different ceiling floor to the ship. The other job it do is to provide space and floor for the equipment and people to stand and work while protecting them from outside weather. 6. Ship's hull. A hull is that part of ship that extends below the waterline to cover and protect water from getting in. You can consider it as the shell which protects the inside treasures from outside environment. Function. Made of steel, the key role of ship's hull is to maintain its watertight integrity and reduce water drag. And so hull plays a major role in determining overall efficiency of a ship. 6. A keel is a part of ship's hull that is responsible for providing strength to the ship's structure, spreading stress and load equally along its longitudinal sides. Function. Being one of the key parts of ship, it helps stabilize and support ship structure. It also plays an important role increasing the effective speed of a ship. With displacement of ship dependent upon the depth of keel from waterline, it is helpful to measure draft and reserve buoyancy of ship. 8. Freeboard. A freeboard stands for the part of ship's hull located above the waterline. It is the distance between the upper deck of ship and the point of waterline. The freeboard of a ship is not fixed but rather depends on the amount of cargo it carries. Function. The role of freeboard among different parts of ship is to maintain ship's stability and avoid it from sinking. Under ICLL 1996 International Convention on Load Line, following load line marking are put on ship's hull: tropical freshwater, tropical, summer, winter and winter North Atlantic. These load lines ensure that the ship have minimum sufficient freeboard at all times for safe voyage. 9. Engine room. An engine room is the powerhouse of the ship located in the lowest most deck on aft of the ship. It contains important machinery such as main engine, auxiliary engine, alternator, shafting, boiler, freshwater generator, air compressor, calorifier, purifier, incinerator, pumps, heat exchangers, workshop machineries, etc. Function. The key role of engine room is to hold all the key machinery and auxiliaries required for different operations on board ship. On deck 1 it usually has control panels for diesel generators and pump, workshop, storeroom, settling tanks, service tanks, freshwater expansion tanks, inert gas platform, deck air compressor, air bottles, etc. 11. Navigation bridge. If engine room is the heart of the ship, navigation bridge is its brain. It is a wide platform on top of the accommodation from which the ship is controlled. They are many a times aided with additional narrow passage called bridge wing, to allow broader and better view of the outside to safely maneuver the ship. Function. Out of various parts of ship, the function of navigation bridge is to provide ample space for officers to look out and maneuver safely. It also holds necessary equipments and controls to change ship's speed and its direction while monitoring outside sea condition and establishing proper means of communication. 12. Deck crane. While not all ships have them, but most do, to help assist in cargo operation and readjustment of cargo in between the voyage if necessary. Other than that, they are also used to load and unload hose, tools, and machinery from the ship. Function. Installed on deck, they are operated by an electric motor, sometimes hydraulically, and are capable of lifting loads up to 50 tons. These cranes can be clearly seen in general cargo ships as one of the critical parts of ship. 13. Forecastle. A forecastle is the foremost parts of ship. It accounts for the front part of the ship's upper deck and is not more than 7% of total deck length. It can be easily identified on a ship structure by a sudden rise in the foredeck near the ship's bow. Function. Being one of the key structural parts of ship, a forecastle or the foremost part of the foredeck, it hold all the necessary equipments required for anchoring operation. On Navy ships, apart from holding anchoring tools and equipment, a forecastle also holds strategic defensive guns position. 14. Propeller. It is a fan-like mechanical device with blades fitted on the shaft. It rotates with the shaft to produce much-needed thrust to propel a ship. The propeller of a ship produces this thrust by converting the rotational energy of its blades to pressure energy. Function. A ship would be useless if it does not move, so propellers are installed on ship to provide it a forward motion. So the function of propeller in ship is to provide much-needed thrust to propel the ship. 15. Rudder. If propeller is the parts of ship that propels, then rudder is the one that makes it steer. Situated in the aft of propeller, it is a flat hollow structure that moves from port to starboard, turning on its axis to help steer the ship. Function. A rudder is the parts of ship that make it steer. Based on the Newton's third law of motion, it generates enough resultant force to steer a ship to desired direction. The movement of a rudder is controlled by steering gear system. 16. Mast. A mast is a vertical ship structure mounted on top of bridge and forward of the forecastle towards the ship's bow. It accounts for the support platform for the ship's derrick and hold necessary equipments such as radars, navigation light, and ship's horn in case of foremast. Function. Out of different parts of ship, the main job of mast is to hold necessary equipment such as radar receiver, navigation lights, ship's horn, flags, and derricks in some case.